Live from Wayne Prophet Court on the campus of the University of Lynchburg, you're watching LHSN, and today we're bringing to you some D3 men's college basketball action as North Carolina Wesleyan has made their way up to Lynchburg, Virginia to take on the Hornets. Thank you, everybody, for spending some time with us here on this Saturday afternoon. TJ Wingard here to take you through all the action. North Carolina Wesleyan enters in at 4-2 overall this season, most recently coming off a win against Mid-Atlantic Christian, 97-67 final score. They also did play an exhibition match against UNC Greensboro, fell to the hands of the Spartans 80-61, but that game, of course, does not count against their record. Meanwhile, Lynchburg enters in at 2-1, most recently played last Saturday against CNU and picked up a big win against the Captains. Here are some of the stats entering the contest. North Carolina Wesleyan, more than 81 points per game. That's good for first inside the USA South. And by the way, speaking of the conference for North Carolina Wesleyan, they were the preseason pick to win the East Division. On the other side, Lynchburg, one of their biggest strengths, efficient field goal percentage. That's 6th in the ODAC, and also the rebound battle, 4th in the ODAC at 5.3 positive rebound margin for the Hornets this season, and they look to continue their momentum forward, coming off a big win last week against CNU, as I mentioned. A lot of talent on the hardwood today. Let's talk about some players to watch, starting with North Carolina Wesleyan. Conversation has to start and end with Damon McDowell, the grad student from Myrtle Beach, averaging almost 19 points per contest. Second team all-conference in 2019-2020, first team in 2020-2021, I beg your pardon. And on the other side, Cam Savage coming off a college career high 20 points against the Captains of Christopher Newport. He and TC Thacker both hit that 20-point mark, and Savage made a living knocking down shots from mid-range, and if you're a Lynchburg fan, hoping to see more of that today. And for the coaches, see them both talking before the game. That's Hillary Scott for Lynchburg, and sharing a few words before this contest gets underway with 27th-year head coach John Thompson. So two long-time head coaches, seen a lot of college basketball. We'll talk about them throughout the entirety of the broadcast. But now we have the national anthem upon us, so we'll step aside and come back with starters and opening tip-off between Lynchburg and North Carolina Wesleyan here on LHSN.
When you come to the University of Lynchburg to earn a master's degree in athletic training, you'll spend time in the classroom, but you'll also spend a lot of time in our top-notch facilities, learning from athletic trainers and working closely with our student athletes. In the Graduate Cadaver Lab, you'll learn about the human body in the best way possible, by actually studying the human body. This will provide a foundation to make you a much better athletic trainer. In the Athletic Training Laboratory, you'll get hands-on experience, practicing your skills, applying concepts from the classroom, and working with faculty on research projects. It's also where our hydrotherapy facilities are. This space is also used by students for studying and practicing skills outside of class time. In the Sports Medicine Clinic and Turner Gymnasium, you'll work with student athletes from more than 20 NCAA Division III sports teams, helping get them back to practice and into the game as soon as possible. As an athletic training student, you're a big part of the success of our sports teams and the success of the local athletic teams. We see this relationship as a win-win situation. You learn, and that helps us win.
Welcome back to Lynchburg, Virginia, the site of the battle between the battling Bishops and the Hornets here on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network. TJ Wingard here to take you through all the action. Starters are taking the hardwood. We'll present to you the starting five for both sides. Talk about some of those starting lineups as well. Starting to talk about Lynchburg playing host to North Carolina Wesleyan. We talked about Cam Savage as our player to watch. Dropped 20 points against CNU. TC Thacker matched his scoring output, and Thacker with a double-double in 2 of the 3 games played so far this year for the Hornets. Theron Suggs, another grad student we have to talk about when you talk about this Lynchburg men's basketball team. Suggs has scored at least 12 points in all 3 games played this year, all told, averaging 15.3 points per contest. Izzy Lockamy shooting more than 46% from beyond the arc. His three-point shooting has been a welcome addition compared to the 22% he was shooting from beyond the arc a season ago. And then Carrington Young, the transfer from Ferrum, an energy player. Every time he's on the hardwood, brings it on both ends of the court. Now let's talk about North Carolina Wesleyan. Braden Dixon enters the starting lineup. He was not in the starting 5 against Mid-Atlantic Christian. Instead, in the starting lineup today for Sal Bay Young, junior from Raleigh, North Carolina. Dixon comes in averaging 8.5 points per contest, shooting just about 42% from beyond the arc. Khalid Hines, sophomore from Greensboro, 7.2 points per game. We talked about Damon McDowell's the player to watch. Then Isaiah Lewis, big, that's going to do a lot of work down low. 5.5 rebounds per contest, along with just under 12 points per game. Second team all-conference in 2020, 2021. And then Tim Pettiford rounding out the starting lineup for the Battle League Bishops, a junior from Wake Forest, shooting 69.2% from the field, and that's 9 points per contest. So it's certainly a high-octane North Carolina offense. North Carolina Wesleyan, I should say, offense. First in the USA South, 81.3 points per game. And as good as Lynchburg's offense was against CNU, really it was the defense that stole the show, forced the captains to shoot 1 of 12 from beyond the arc in the first half, and CNU shot 26.7% the first 20 minutes of play against the Hornets last weekend. So that defensive intensity can carry over today. You feel good about your chances if you're a Hornets fan. Try to contain that North Carolina Wesleyan offense that we talked about and described as explosive to say the least. Three-point shooting is going to be a big barometer for this contest. North Carolina Wesleyan second in the USA South, shooting 39.1% from beyond the arc. Lynchburg also second in the conference. They're shooting 40.9%. These are two teams that when they get on a heater, they start feeling themselves from beyond the arc. It can be tough to slow down each offense. So we'll see which defense has an answer for that. I think another welcome sign when talking about three-point shooting for Lynchburg. So you're second in the conference in three-point shooting percentage. You're fourth in threes per game at 9.3 trifectas per contest, but you're 11th in three-point attempts on the season, 66. So it's a team that's knocking down a lot of threes, doing so at an efficient clip, and therefore not having to force up a ton of attempts. Opening tip, T.C. Thacker lined up against Isaiah Lewis. Lewis wins the opening possession for North Carolina Wesleyan, and we are now underway. Pettiford back to Hines. Drops it off for Lewis. Defended by Thacker. Shot clock on the opening possession at 10. Hines tries to feed Pettiford. Contact in the play. Whistle is blown. Foul goes against Carrington Young, and it will put Pettiford at the free throw line. 75% free throw shooter so far this season. In the opening points of the contest come from the stripe. Third all-time meeting between these two teams. They have split their series history so far, a game apiece. This is the first time these two teams have played one another in Lynchburg, Virginia, though. First meeting was back in 2004. It was a North Carolina Wesleyan win, 69-60. Then the second meeting was November 13th, 2019. Lynchburg won 88-68. A lot of familiar faces in that contest that we see today, including Theron Suggs, who had 18 for Lynchburg. T.C. Thacker had 10 points, 13 rebounds. And then Damon McDowell on the other side had 17 points, 10 rebounds for the Battling Bishops. First possession for Lynchburg. Izzy Lockamy drives in. Shot strong off the glass. Didn't reset the shot clock. Thacker out to Savage. Shot off the mark. Long rebound. Knocked away by Suggs. For a moment it was with Braden Dixon. And now Lynchburg gets another chance. Fresh shot clock is at 18. Savage has it poked away. Last touched by North Carolina Wesleyan. So some up-tempo play early on. Minute and 3 seconds into this contest, and we've already seen Lynchburg pinball back and forth across half court and even on their own half the hardwood. Theron Suggs knocks down the first field goal of the day for the Hornets. The deep three touches nothing but nylon. Suggs shooting 54.5% from beyond the arc so far this season. Continues to shoot the basketball well from downtown. Three-point attempt on the way for North Carolina Wesleyan. It was McDowell taking it. Southpaw, no good. Young pushes forward after gathering the rebound. Lockamy lines up the trifecta, misses off the back iron. Next at ball, Salbe Young will check in for North Carolina Wesleyan. McDowell defended by Lockamy. Top of the key is Hines. Kicking it back out. McDowell tries another three, and again, shot no good. Trying to keep it with North Carolina Wesleyan as Isaiah Lewis instead tips it out of play. Young checks in. Lewis will check out. Full court pressure for North Carolina Wesleyan. Different look on the defensive end. Savage brings it across half court. Hines nearly poked it away from behind. It's with Thacker underneath the basket. His first shot of the day off the mark. Strongman's rebound for Pettiford. Screen left for Dixon. Works his way to the free throw line. Young in front of Thacker. Shot denied. T.C. Thacker came today first in the ODAC in blocks per contest, averaging 1.3 a game. Has a block in every game played, and that trend continues today. Savage, a transfer from Barton College. His career high at Barton was 8 points per contest. Here, pulls up from the free throw line. Shot won't fall, but foul on the play will send Savage to the line. Lynchburg with an opportunity to extend out their 1 point lead in the early goings. Savage shooting 71.4% from the free throw line. And he's seen his time on the court grow and grow with every game played. 6 minutes, then 15 in the second game, then played 31 minutes against CNU. In a lot of ways, he was the hot hand, especially in the first half against the Captains. And he's got his first two on the day. Hines for Young, working against Thacker. Well contested by the grad student. Long rebound to Savage. Lockamy in transition. Suggs for three. Off the front of the rim. Seeing Lynchburg not afraid to play in transition, pushing the tempo. Young's going to be called for the block. That'll be his second foul. Presume to see him check out here. And that's going to bring Trey Pittman off the bench for Lynchburg. Flurry of subs for North Carolina Wesleyan. Isaiah Lewis back into the contest, joined by Pettiford as well as Austin Manley. Inbound goes to Lewis. Junior from Nightendale, North Carolina. Tough shot from Dixon. Touches every part of the iron. Rattles out. Lewis tried to get the offensive rebound. Tipped it out of the hands of T.C. Thacker. They'll say last touched by Lewis. And again, we'll see the full court press. North Carolina Wesleyan. Pittman to inbound, fresh after checking in. And we'll see if that trend continues for the battling Bishops. They have the opportunity to play at a halt, or they're going to continue to go full court press against Lynchburg. Hasn't caused any turnovers instead. Battling Bishops try to play up-tempo and kick it away to Lynchburg. Savage, tough mid-range two. No good. O-board. Thacker, shot fake. Off the glass and in, and that's the game with T.C. Thacker in a single possession. Hustle to the glass, does the dirty work, and gets two for his efforts. Lewis against Pittman. Tough shot. Rolls out. Savage lofts it up. Easy two for Thacker. Back-to-back buckets. The Madison Heights, Virginia native. Lynchburg stretches their lead up 9-2. They got out to a hot start against Christopher Newport. At one point led 15-2 in that contest, and it wasn't until just about 7.5 minutes into the game against the Captains before Lynchburg's defense gave up their second made field goal attempt. Mid-range J off the mark. Shot taken by Lewis. Lockamy out in front. Bounce pass to Pittman. Turnaround, fadeaway J is true for Pittman. And Lynchburg in the first 5+ minutes of play can do no wrong. See some subs for both sides. The next head ball, 3-point attempt from Dixon. Strong off the side of the iron, and Manley tries to keep it in and does so. Sends it off the body of Pittman. Great hustle play there for Manley. Earns another possession for North Carolina Wesleyan. Damon McDowell checks back in. And for Lynchburg, it's Jordan Parham as well as Dow Dutton in for Coach Hillary Scott. McDowell without a made field goal so far in the contest. 0 for 2 from beyond the arc. Picks up his dribble. Soft touch with the left hand, nothing but nylon. That becomes the first made field goal attempt today for North Carolina Wesleyan. First 2 points came from the free throw line. Suggs off the screen. Heat check, won't fall. You can see the confidence that Suggs is shooting the basketball with start the year. And at this point, end of the contest shooting more than 54% from beyond the arc. Another hot 3-point shooter to start the year is Jordan Parham. He gets his first on the day. Game of the day shooting 50% from beyond the arc. Lead back to double figures for Lynchburg. Dunn pokes it away from Pettiford for a moment. Pettiford stays with it. Contested layup, no good. In and out of the hands of Dunn. It goes out of play, and that will send us to our under 14-minute media timeout. So we'll step aside, come back with more between Lynchburg and North Carolina Wesleyan. Hornets out in front by 10. .23 left to play in the first half. Lynchburg out in front of North Carolina Wesleyan, 14-4. Third ever meeting between the battling Bishops and the Hornets. And in the early goings, Lynchburg in the driver's seat. This has been a team accustomed to hot starts. They were to turn that hot start into a full, great 40 minutes of play against Christopher Newport last Saturday. Games prior, it was a 30-point lead against Methodist in the season opener. That came in at a 13-point victory, so a win's a win, but the margin certainly shrunk. And then against Mary Washington, the one loss in the year for Lynchburg, it was 21-8 with 7:38 left in the first half. Lynchburg then trailed by 3 at the break and then lost by the same differential. Noah Bullock, first time calling his name, takes the screen from Dutton. It's now with Pittman, looking for Lockamy, hands it off, shot clock's at 5. Bullock's going to be first to put up a tough shot. Has it poked away by Dixon. 2 seconds on the shot clock. And it's going to be Noah Bullock to inbound, but before he gets the chance to, timeout called by Coach Hillary Scott. 30-second timeout, and this is to draw up a catch-and-shoot opportunity. And given the 5 on the court, wouldn't be surprised if the inbound goes to someone like Jordan Parham, knocked down the 1 3-point shot he's had so far today. We talked about it when he checked in, shooting 50% entering the contest from downtown. He's got a quick release, too, and that's really what you're looking for here with 2 seconds. Who can get the shot off the quickest so you can avoid the shot clock violation? And Parham, with a quick trigger, feels like he could be somebody we see on the receiving end of this inbounds play with 12:45 left in the first half. Go over some of the stats. North Carolina Wesleyan 2 of 12 to start from the field. Lynchburg 5 of 13. That's 38.5%. So it has been a glowing start for the offense, but the defense has been there. That has carried over from that CNU win for Lynchburg, holding the Battling Bishops to 0 of 3 from beyond the arc, and then, as mentioned, 16.7% shooting from the field. Lockamy inbound. Parham, turnaround Trey. This is just short. Good look, given the time frame that Lynchburg had to work within. The deficit down to single digits at 8. Chance for North Carolina Wesleyan to turn good defense, get some points in their end, and build some momentum from that point onward. Young finds McDowell cutting. Well contested by Dunton. They'll say last touch by a Battling Bishop. McDowell not happy with, one, not getting the foul call in the layup, and then not happy that possession's being given to Lynchburg. And again, we see the full court pressure. Going on to stop in the action. Parham takes the screen from Dunton. Pittman, a big man that can stretch the floor. Gives it back to Parham. Shot clock's down underneath 10. Pittman spin move against Young. Misses long in the mid-range J. But another stop for the Hornets on the defensive side. Quickly ahead for Lockamy. And now Lynchburg will be forced to set up in the half court. Lockamy, nice Euro step, creates some space. Can't finish at the rim, but he'll head to the line for 2. Izzy Lockamy, a season ago, shot 22.2% from beyond the arc. But to start his senior campaign, he has been red hot, to say the least. Given that he's shooting 46.2% from beyond the line, and at the free throw line, shooting 75% entering today's play. Set a career high with 16 points earlier this year against Mary Washington. Also a career high 4 made trifectas against the Eagles. And he was a big part of a late push for Lynchburg, trying to battle back late in the contest. And as I mentioned earlier, ended up in a 3-point loss, 68-65 on the road. Lockamy goes 2 for 2. Subs check in for Lynchburg. It's Landon Sutton and Lucas Heckerman. All but 3 players so far for Lynchburg who have touched the floor have scored. The exceptions being Noah Bullock, down Dunton, and then now Lucas Heckerman, Landon Sutton joined that party. But prior to them checking in, it was just 3. Poked away by Heckerman. North Carolina Wesleyan trying to work it down low to Kyron Kelly, sophomore from Fayetteville, North Carolina. T-Best 14 points and 10 rebounds in the win against Mid-Atlantic Christian. Dixon works against Bullock. Tough 2 just ahead of the free throw line. Poked away by Heckerman. Bullock gets it ahead to Parham. Tough layup attempt, no good. Dunton with the offensive board. Heckerman gets it out to Bullock for 3. Shot is well long. Now Dixon ahead for Kelly. Give and go between Kelly and Marquise Eskew. Another empty possession for North Carolina Wesleyan, and Lynchburg almost returns the favor. Landon Sutton wasn't entirely on the same page there with Bullock. Nearly turned it over. Pick and pop, Heckerman for three. Misses it all. Another rebound for Braden Dixon. Nice find, Young with the left hand, sees it fall through. The deficit's down to 8 for North Carolina Wesleyan. No one picks up Sutton. He attacks the iron. Layup won't go. Sticking to it. Dal Dutton gets his first 2 points on the afternoon. Dutton the season ago, 6th in the ODAC in rebounds per game. Him and Thacker served as the Twin Towers of sorts. Doing a lot of the dirty work down low. Kelly works against Heckerman. Left-handed hook shot, no good. Foul on the floor. Be the third to go against the battling Bishops. Subs will check in for both teams. Alex Fitch and T.C. Thacker for Lynchburg. Damon McDowell and Khalid Hines for NC Wesleyan. Leads hovered around this 10-point advantage for Lynchburg so far. Fitch is going to check in, first time calling his name today. Junior from Ashburn, Virginia. Redshirted at D2 Millersville, Pennsylvania, 2019. And then last year played in 7 games for the Hornets. Justin Elkin also checked in. He comes on for Dutton. And again, with breaking the action, the subs check in. Full court pressure is there for North Carolina Wesleyan. Fitch off the screen for 3. Shot no good. Good rebound for Kelly. Able to box out Thacker. SQ, tough 2. Shot won't fall. Off the leg of a battling Bishop. Lynchburg takes over. Just over 9 minutes to play in the first half. Marquise SQ took that last shot, sophomore from Fayetteville, North Carolina. He had a team best 17 points at Mary Washington, 6 of 10 shooting from the field, 5 of 6 from beyond the arc. So SQ, somebody who's certainly capable of heating up and turning the game around in a big fashion. Someone else that falls in that category, we saw him checked in earlier, but Austin Manley, a sophomore from Apex, North Carolina, tied McDowell with 18 points against Methodist. That was back in the season opener for NC Wesleyan. All 18 points coming from beyond the arc. He went 6 of 6 from three-point land, and the ability to have SQ and Manley, Salve Young's put in some good minutes off the bench. That makes the depth of this NC Wesleyan team one of their bigger strengths. A couple players who knock down shots when they're open. Salve Young, who's done a little bit of everything, 6'4" big, moves well in transition. Allows you to get some good scoring from your second unit. Something we haven't seen yet today, but figure to see it break through in both these sides, because you can say the same thing about Lynchburg. Noah Bullock off the bench. Haven't seen Kayvon James, but that's somebody with plenty of scoring potential. Alex Fitch, 0 for 1 to start his day, but he can certainly shoot it from downtown. Jordan Parham, we've already seen him do that. Jalen Hargrove, haven't seen him today yet. Another attempt for Fitch. Again, won't see the shot fall. Trying to work quick, SQ the intended target, but instead pass sent straight towards the Lynchburg bench. Another turnover for NC Wesleyan. Goes down as just the second turnover of the game, both for the battling Bishops. Sutton feeds Thacker after he sets the screen. Nice pick and roll offense there for Lynchburg. Lead up to 12. Dixon looking for space. Hands to SQ. Trying to dump it off for Kelly. Suggs down on the floor. He and Kelly both with hands on the basketball. Jump ball, alternating possession. have it stay with NC Wesleyan. Kelly checks out. Lewis comes on in his place. 7 seconds on the shot clock. 8:10 to go in the first half. Shot clock now at 4. McDowell, the nice finish at the rim, gets 2 for North Carolina Wesleyan. But then after the play, McDowell called for the foul. Not entirely what for, potential delay of game rationale there. Didn't see if McDowell hit the basketball after he sank the layup, but that might have been the case. Sutton picks up his dribble, tries to hand it off to Suggs. Instead, it's taken away by Braden Dixon. 3-on-2 the other way. Offensive foul. That's what you get from Theron Suggs, the veteran, with a veteran savvy move there. After seeing Sutton pick up his dribble, probably a step too early, and then as he hands it off to Suggs, Dixon creates the turnover, but then Suggs gets it right back. And taking the charge is probably the last thing any basketball player wants to be doing, but Suggs does so, gets the stop, and gives way to Alex Fitch to inbound. Again, we'll see the full court pressure for NC Wesleyan. Hornets have doubled up the Battling Bishops, 20-10. Sutton defended by Khalid Hines. Second defender comes, but hook layup with plenty of English on it. Won't fall for Sutton. And then on the receiving end of the pass from Fitch, nearly has it slip through his hands and go out of play. Lynchburg, just 1 turnover so far. Came just a moment ago. Fitch has it ripped by McDowell. McDowell, the leading scorer, or at least tied for that mark. Him and Salve Young both with 4 points so far. McDowell over Fitch. Shot won't go. In and out of the hands of Justin Elkin and out of play. Savage and Suggs check back in for Lynchburg. Fitch and Sutton will head to the bench, and Izzy Lockamy is back in the contest as well. Timeout call. That'll send us to our under 7-minute media timeout. It's 20-10. Lynchburg out in front of North Carolina Wesleyan here on LHSN.
I was looking for a school that could provide me with the athletics, academics to pursue my career, a wind symphony to pursue my passion for music, and really have a nice general atmosphere. The professors here are really unique, their background and their passion for teaching. It's really a place where you can explore. Lynchburg gives you the opportunity to fail, but also get back up in that period of time and learn from your mistakes. I can make these mistakes within the school environment, but also with the support of other friends, and be ready for the real world when you graduate.
Welcome back to Lynchburg, Virginia. Hornets have doubled up the Battling Bishops. 20-10 your score with just under 7 minutes to be played in the first half. TJ Wingert here with you on LHSN. Thank you all for spending some time with us on your Saturday afternoon. It's Damon McDowell to inbound. Does get it out to Marquise Eskew. Back to McDowell. Touches off the iron a couple times. Won't fall through. NC Wesleyan, I beg your pardon, 4 of 21 shooting from the field so far in the first half. Savage with 10 on the shot clock, picks up his dribble, gets it out to Lockamy. Shot fake, step back, 3, wedges between the iron and the backboard. That'll stop the clock with 6:18 to go in the first half. And in that occasion, it serves as a jump ball of sorts, alternating possession. It's going to stay with Lynchburg. Two seconds on the shot clock. They got to put it up quick. Suggs was the inbounder. Savage took the shot, left it well short. And we talked about the offensive inefficiency for NC Wesleyan. It hasn't been that much better for the Hornets as Lewis can't get the right-handed hook to go. Has it tipped back out to him. Denied by Thacker. Gathered by Lockamy. 2-on-2 the other way. He has Savage. Bounce pass, Savage. Retraces some ground. Back out to Suggs. Wide open for three. Off the front of the rim. Rebound punched loose by Lewis, but he made contact with Suggs and will be called for the foul because of it. Fifth team foul to go against NC Wesleyan. Count of that's just 2 so far for Lynchburg. So possession stays with the Hornets. 5:45 in the first half. Thacker called for the travel. And he received the inbound and felt immediate pressure from opposing number 24, Tim Pettiford. Pressure creates the second turnover so far for Lynchburg. We've only seen 5 so far in the game. Thacker actually holding onto his left wrist. Hope that he is okay. And now NC Wesleyan turns it right back over. Foul goes against Braden Dixon. His second. 6 to go against NC Wesleyan. So the next foul to go against the Bishops. Send Lynchburg to the line for the 1-and-1. So a couple of fouls and turnovers for each side. Now hopefully we can settle back into the groove we were in start the contest. We saw a whole lot of up-tempo play, and it felt like the teams were, again, we talked about there's not a whole lot of turnovers so far, but they've just been a pass away, whether it's a little late, maybe a little early. Receiver of the pass just not looking. We saw that a couple times early on. And overall, what it feels like is Lynchburg hasn't played since last Saturday, 6 days. Down any game action, and for NC Wesleyan, it's been 10 days. Last time they saw the court was the 17th of November against Mid-Atlantic Christian. And of course, you have Thanksgiving on Thursday. Tough pull-up shot falls for Suggs. But due to the holiday and some extended breaks from game action, felt like these teams came out just a little rusty. That has carried into latter stages of the first half, less than 5 to go. You feel like once these two teams settle into it, the offense is going to start to shine through for both these teams. Lots of firepower on both sides. But NC Wesleyan shooting 16.7% from the field, and Lynchburg 27.6%. I don't think either team will be happy with that mark. Foul on the play goes against Dylan Drinkwater. 7th to go against NC Wesleyan, so Maisie Lockamy to the line for the bonus. Lewis is going to check out, and Salve Young comes on in his place. Lockamy without a made field goal so far, 0 of 4. And 0 of 2 from beyond the arc, but 2 points so far. Both come from the free throw line. Knocks down the first, he'll earn the second free throw. That puts Lockamy third in the scoring department for Lynchburg, trailing TC Thacker with 6 there, and Suggs has 5. And the other side for NC Wesleyan, just 3 players have scored. 4 points for McDowell and Young, and then 2 for Pettiford. And that brings you to the 10-point mark the Battling Bishops stand at now. Drinkwater was just called for the foul. Hands off to McDowell. Tries his luck with another 3. Nothing but the bottom of the net. First trifecta to fall for the grad student from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Brings the deficit down to 11. Savage turns it over. Even numbers the other way. Hines, the floater, just outside the restricted circle. Carrington Young there to take the charge. Second foul to go against Marquise Eskew. Now we get the opportunity, first time calling out the name Miles Taylor. He just checked in, and he's going to receive the inbounds pass. It's manned up by Austin Manley. No pun intended. Savage just barely gets it off to Young. Young hands off to Taylor. Drives left. Young with two defenders on him. Nice feed to Thacker. Three players swarm around him. Savage. This is strong. Taylor stays with it. It did not hit the iron, so it is going to be called a shot clock violation. Savage did not hit the rim. Shot clock did not reset. Good call by our officiating crew today. And Lynchburg did not have a turnover until about 3 minutes ago game time. And the shot clock violation serves as the fourth to go against the Hornets. Today's officiating crew, by the way, for those wondering, Damon Williams, Casey Regetz, and Dwad Mills. Drinkwater got past two defenders for a moment. McDowell, long two, notches through. Back to a single-digit advantage for Lynchburg. Savage defended by the taller Drinkwater. It looks like Dylan Drinkwater called for yet another foul. Freshman from Cary, North Carolina, stands at 6 foot, weighs 160 pounds. So he got his hands on Savage. So he was trying to make his way toward the free throw line, and now Savage is going to get the one-on-one chance at the stripe. Next foul committed by North Carolina Wesleyan will put Lynchburg at the line for a guaranteed 2 as they would reach the double bonus. Savage good on the front end. This is his third point of the day, and just like Lockamy, without a made field goal, Savage 0 for 3 from downtown, 0 5 from the field overall. He's now got 3 points, all from the line. This is the second, gets the offensive rebound. Suggs working against Drinkwater, fading away. Mid-range jumper is short. Rebound, and Manley then fouled. Goes against Trey Pittman. Just the third foul to go against Lynchburg, so the Battling Bishops not in a spot to try to work themselves into the bonus without at least a Herculean type of effort. Pick up 4 more fouls over the next 2.5 minutes and counting against Lynchburg. Jordan Parham is checked in for Savage. He's tasked with trying to defend Drinkwater. Comes off the screen. Might have had Young. Instead, gets to Manley. McDowell. Defended by Taylor, and Taylor's going to be called for the foul. Sophomore from Jamestown, North Carolina. Miles Taylor picks up his first foul, 4th to go against the Hornets. Parham is giving Drinkwater his left hand. Drinkwater attacks the basket. Going to be called for the charge. Miles Taylor avenges the foul called on him just a moment ago. Third charge we've already seen Lynchburg take today. Suggs, Young, and now Taylor. All with unselfish plays. Tacking on to the turnover total for NC Wesleyan, which is now at 5. They trail by 10 to the hands of Lynchburg. Suggs drives in, corner tray. Parham knocks it down. Second three-point shot to go for Parham. Nice drive, but Hines can't finish. Poked out across the baseline, last touched by an NC Wesleyan player, and Taylor's going to inbound for Lynchburg. 97 seconds to go in the first half. Pettiford switches on to Suggs. Cross-court swing from Thacker. 4 players all on one side of the court for Lynchburg as Suggs drops it off. Pittman, fadeaway Jay, short. Gets his offensive rebound, back out to Suggs for 3, also short. Rebound by Austin Manley. Three-point shooting continues to be a tough time going for Lynchburg today. 3 of 16 from beyond the arc, but they create another turnover on the defensive side, and Taylor going to be called for the charge. Nice play by, look like Salbe Young, who is down on the court. And it is Young. He did a great job getting back on the defensive side, and it's really tough as you're backpedaling to then set your feet, get set, and earn that call, and that was exactly what Young did. Kayvon James checks in, as does Braden Dixon for NC Wesleyan. Less than a minute to go in the first half. Three-point shot here for Battling Bishops. Could bring it back to a 10-point game. That's about where we've been hovering ever since the early 8-2 run for Lynchburg. From the free throw line, Dixon misses it all. Air ball stops the clock, 45.8 to play. Adding on to that, it was actually an 11-2 lead at one point in the first half for Lynchburg. The hot start has certainly paid dividends. Lynchburg has certainly been the better team from start to finish here in the first half. Question will be, can they continue to be the dominant team once we get to the second half? Nice feed from Suggs, easy finish for Thacker. Lynchburg up by 15. Shot clock's turned off. McDowell defended by James. Handoff to Dixon. Left-handed floater, if you will. Turnaround shot falls, and the foul to go with it. 13.5 seconds to play. Nice shot there from Dixon. Did a great job just hitting the brakes. Got the defender in the air. Tough finish. And was certainly fouled on the play, so he'll head to the line for the first time today. Dixon, even today, shooting 80%. The free throw line on the season. NC Wesleyan as a team, 2 of 2 from the stripe. Those 2 attempts coming from Tim Pettiford. Free throw's no good. Young working against Thacker. Thacker the last to touch it. Rolls across the baseline. It's going to stay with NC Wesleyan. Elkin checks in for Pittman. Chance here for the Battling Bishops. Get the last shot of the first half. End the first 20 minutes of play on a positive note. Get some momentum on your side before you break. McDowell to Manley, 3 seconds to go. Has 3 defenders on him. Looks like Justin Elkin's going to be called for the foul. Manley does a good job putting his body up against Elkin. Absorbs the contact. It's actually going to be called on Suggs. Like I said, 3 Hornet defenders in the vicinity. So Manley to the line for 2 with .7 to be played. At least a chance to lower the deficit down to 11. And they knocks down the first. First point of the day for sophomore from Apex, North Carolina. Came in the day shooting 11 of 15 from beyond the arc. Astronomical mark. The first few games of the year. He goes 1 for 2 at the line and brings it close to the first half. 30-18, your score. Hornets out in front of the Battling Bishops. We'll step aside, come back. Our LHSN halftime show and talk about some of the stats from the first 20 minutes of play. So don't go anywhere. Plenty more to watch between the Hornets and the Battling Bishops here on LHSN.
Be ready for anything, okay?
Come on, let's go together. Together, let's go. Come on. Let's go, keep going.
There is the death switch. Straight? Straight up, yep. Okay. Woo! Good one. All right, guys, you see the meat grinder down here? Stay in the boat. Let's go. Camera? Oh, what'd you think of that? Woo!
Get small classes, nationally recognized mentoring and advising, and a community that has your back every step of the way at the University of Lynchburg.
My name is Joshua Carr. I am a senior. I am a theater major as well as a history minor. I live in 5th Street, the historic black neighborhood. The money came in, transfer, scholarship, all that. I appreciate that greatly. I'm smart too. So they gave it like, you smart, here, here, here. You know what I'm saying? You come here to do a job. I came here to do a job. A student's job is to get that degree and make something of ourselves. I love the diversity here. I love the different interests of people here. I can teach somebody that doesn't know what I know, and that person can teach me something that I don't know that they know. So that's what I love about my school. They respect that and they allow us to showcase and voice our expressions. That's what you get here. You get diversity, you get different people with different knowledge coming together, sharing information and helping each other out. That's what I love. That's why I say people. I love the people here.
Welcome back to Lynchburg, Virginia. It's halftime between University of Lynchburg Hornets and North Carolina Wesleyan. The Battling Bishops trailing 30-18 at the break here on LHSN. TJ Wingard here with you. Thank you all for spending some time with us here on your Saturday afternoon. Let's talk about some of the stats from the first 20 minutes of play. And, well, both offenses have a lot of firepower. We talked about how at any moment, really, in any game, they're prone to explode, but it has not been the case so far. Both teams shooting under 30% from the field, and one of those field goal percentages I'm sure making either coach very happy at the break currently. And three-point shooting additionally has been a tough go at it for both sides. NC Wesleyan 1 of 4, so they've taken a smaller quantity, but Lynchburg 3 of 17. You see 17.6% there on your screen. Rebound advantage has definitely been there for Lynchburg. That is certainly one of their biggest strengths as a team as a whole. Of the 29 rebounds, 9 of which have been offensive rebounds, leading to 9 second chance points to just 5 so far for NC Wesleyan. And the turnovers started to pile up later on, which is a little interesting considering where these teams started out. They wanted to play up-tempo, and they just couldn't quite finish sequences to get those outlet opportunities and take advantage of fast break looks. And a large part of that is probably due to rust. It's been a long time since either team has played a game. 6 days for Lynchburg, 10 days for North Carolina Wesleyan. But it was really in the second part, the latter half of the first half, where the turnover started to pile up. 7 for the Battling Bishops, 6 for Lynchburg. That translated to 7 fast break points for Lynchburg, just 2 for NC Wesleyan. So turnovers haven't been too costly for either side so far, but if that trend continues in the second half, that could certainly be what gets the Bannerly Bishops back into it, or could be what fuels the Hornets to run away with it down the stretch. Well, that's going to do it for our first segment of our LHSN halftime show. Don't go anywhere, though. We'll take a pause, come back, and talk about some adjustments both these teams can make as we get closer and closer to the second half of play. 3rd to 18 your score here at halftime in Lynchburg, Virginia.
Hi, Mara Willis. How are you? Pretty good.
A lot of people go to the universities to find something to be a part of while getting their education. And when you come here, Lynchburg is that something, it becomes a family. It doesn't matter how long ago you had your professor, they still remember you and they remember all of the hard work that you put in. They're always there for you and they always want to do the best that they can to help you succeed. Here you learn how to love one another regardless of what's going on or what you believe. You leave here better than what you came in. It's what this school's really good at doing.
Okay.
Okay.
We're good.
Sweet. See you later.
To have a cadaver lab is a bit rare nowadays, just because other programs are going to more convenient forms of that kind of learning. So to be able to get your hands on actual bodies, to get your hands on actual structures that you know exist underneath the skin, but you don't quite have the concept of how they all work. Now in that class you can get the concept of how they work. And then being able to apply that directly to the clinical sites. So you'll go straight from class right into your clinical sites and you'll be able to use everything that you've learned that day to be able to work with the kids directly with the athletes is the most rewarding part, is the most rewarding experience of it.
Look what you're missing.
It really don't matter to me, I'm just happy to be here, I might go crazy.
First thing would definitely be make a plan and write it down. And, get with your classmates and put your brains together. One thing about a cohort-style group, study group, is it's perfect because when you put multiple brains together, you get a really good big brain. It gives us a great balance. It teaches us responsibility. It's never too easy, but we're put in a position where we're going to get better, we're going to learn, and we have to take time to put get responsible and do the work, but we also have to learn how to manage our time with clinical rotations as well. But I think everything is well put together, as in the course load and as well as the clinical education, and when you put that together, you make great athletic trainers.
I was looking for a school that could provide me with the athletics, academics to pursue my career, a wind symphony to pursue my passion for music, and really have a nice general atmosphere. The professors here are really unique, their background and their passion for teaching. It's really a place where you can explore. Lynchburg gives you the opportunity to fail, but also get back up in that period of time and learn from your mistakes. I can make these mistakes within the school environment, but also with the support of other friends, and be ready for the real world when you graduate.
If I'm walking around over on the crowd side, I always hear someone yelling, "Hey Nat, take our picture. Hey Nat, get this," or something, or "Hey Nat, you got that shot?" Like, so I'm always like trying to photograph the crowds and my friends calling my name. I think sports at Lynchburg unifies us as a whole. No matter what background we come from, what differences we have, and what experience we've experienced through our lives, it brings us all together and we have one goal, which is to win. As a photographer, I definitely get to capture the emotion and the feel and the atmosphere of what's going on during the games and what's happening in the crowd and with the fans. We have hugely dedicated fans here at Lynchburg. They come out whether it's rain, snow, sleet, windy, no matter what, like they will come out and support their team and cheer them on. They will sit through anything. It's just, it brings us all together as one.
Back at Wayne Profit Court on the campus of the University of Lynchburg. Hornets out in front of the Battling Bishops, 30-18 here on LHSN. Thank you all for tuning in. TJ Wingert here with you. Let's talk about some adjustments as we're a little over a minute away from the second half getting underway. And really what I've tried to identify here is some of those tertiary options for NC Wesleyan. Players like Isaiah Lewis and Braden Dixon, those are two guys you want to see get going here. Mason McDowell leads your team in scoring with 9, and he's had to knock down some tough shots, 4 of 10 shooting from the field, and he has that ability to do that. But, man, if you're an NC Wesleyan fan, what an advantage it would be for you to get some of those second and third options going. And Lewis 0 of 5 from the field in the first half. Dixon 1 of 5. You'd like to see, especially in the first few minutes of the second half, maybe one of the two of them, maybe even both of them, get an easy look and get some confidence and start to see the ball just hit through the bottom of the net. And the same can be said for Lynchburg. TC Thacker 4 of 5 shooting from the field. He leads the way with 8 points, also 6 rebounds, so double-double watch there. Darren Suggs 2 of 7 shooting from the field, 1 of 5 from beyond the arc. He's one of those players that takes tough shots, makes tough shots, so sometimes the field goal percentage isn't always glamorous, but you expect to see that number improve upon itself in the second half. Really, Izzy Lockamy and Cam Savage, 0-4 and 0-5 from the field respectively, and the two have combined to go 0-5 from downtown. If one of those two or both of those two can get an easy look to start out the second half and, again, get some confidence and momentum, feeling good shooting the basketball, you feel like that will go a long way for Lynchburg trying to hold on to their 12-point advantage. So Lewis, Dixon, or any of those other second, third-tier options for NC Wesleyan, and then for Lynchburg, Lockamy, Savage, or someone else, maybe Carrington Savage, who hasn't taken a field goal attempt so far today. You know what he can do down low. Additionally, Trey Pittman's poured in some good minutes, over 8.5 minutes worth of play in the first half. You also have Jordan Parham, 2 of 4 shooting, 2 of 3 from downtown. He could be someone who pours in some more offense in the second half. So some options there for both sides. And then additionally, some other adjustments. NC Wesleyan, you'd like to see them be a little bit more controlled, especially on the defensive rebounding side, giving up 9 O-boards to Lynchburg in the first half, 3 of which went to TC Thacker, and that led to a 9-5 second chance points advantage. And additionally, turnovers. That really started to mount up late in the first half, but a 7-6 turnover mark. NC Wesleyan one more than Lynchburg in the first 20 minutes. That led to a 9-2 points off the turnover advantage for the Hornets. So the Hornets certainly more efficient after creating turnovers on the defensive end. Speaking of the defensive side, Lynchburg gets out to a good start on that end of the court, forces McDowell to take a tough look, and then backdoor cut and a beautiful finish from Izzy Lockamy. Nice find from Suggs, and then Lockamy hangs in the air just long enough, and with the left hand and a little bit of English, spins it in. Lockamy with the defensive assignment, trying to slow down McDowell. No easy task. Now it's Hines. Hand off to Dixon. Without a made three so far today. Works his way in against Carrington Young. McDowell for three, indeed. It doesn't take a whole lot of space for McDowell to feel like he's open. And you can see with how much confidence he shoots the basketball with. Now an 11-point game. Suggs, 8 seconds on the shot clock. Defended by Dixon. Shot fake, Lockamy, corner three. No good. Thacker battles for the board. They'll say last touched by Tim Pettiford, who was battling against Thacker. So Lynchburg earns another possession and 20 seconds on the shot clock as Austin Manley checks back into the contest. Long pass from Savage sends Suggs all the way to Lynchburg half of the court. Thacker, Lockamy wide open for three. No good. O-board and put back for Carrington Young, his first 2 points on the afternoon. Coming in today, NC Wesleyan was first in the USA South in rebounding margin, plus 8.8. Lynchburg towards the top of the ODAC, fourth to be exact, at plus 5.3 rebound mark, but the Hornets have certainly dominated the glass so far. Updated total 32-19 advantage for Lynchburg over NC Wesleyan on the glass. Lewis is going to check out. Salve Young comes on in his place. And again, we saw this a lot in the first half with a dead ball and subs checking in. Breaking the action, Battling Bishops are going to go full court press. Suggs trying to find Carrington Young. Does get the pass off. Another cut from Lockamy. And with the left hand, kisses it off the glass and in. Lockamy is such a dangerous three-point shooter that you have to defend him that far out on the floor. You have to account for him as soon as he gets near the three-point line. And because of that, he's so quick and he can use his speed to an advantage to then get by a defender on those cuts. And he's got great finesse around the basket, and he'll finish at the rim 9 times out of 10, no matter who's defending him. Turnover for NC Wesleyan. Tim Pettiford, the guilty party. Pettiford and 27th year head coach John Thompson not happy with the call, but another turnover against NC Wesleyan. They're 8 so far in the contest, contrasted to 6 so far for Lynchburg. Savage defended by Drinkwater, brings it across half court. Savage open, makes a living from mid-range, kicks it out, Lockamy. Far side wing three, falls through. Lockamy is out to a hot start in the second half. Lockamy now with a tied team best 8 points in the ball game. Right-handed hook, no good for Pettiford. Lockamy keeps it in. Another chance for the Battling Bishops. And a technical foul called on the play, and it's going to go against Tim Pettiford. Just wanted to wait to confirm that it was on Pettiford, and it was indeed. He was frustrated with the amount of contact. Tried to go up through on the layup attempt, and then shoved the basketball towards the locker rooms where the padding is. And we saw something similar earlier after Damon McDowell made a shot. He must have kicked the basketball away or made some incidental contact. He was called for a foul afterwards. So clearly a delay of game is something that the officiating crew today is going to have none of. Suggs knocks down the first of 2 free throw attempts. He's now got 6 points of the day. These are his first 2 attempts from the free throw line. And he stretches the Lynchburg lead up and over 20. So after the technical free throws from Suggs, we flip ends of the court, and here are the free throws that Pettiford will get after drawing the contact from Lockamy. Pettiford misses on the first, and that is the true sign of frustration. Pettiford came in today shooting 75% from the line on the season. Knocks down the second. He's now 3 for 4 from the line today, staying true to that 75% free throw percentage. Good passing. Young gets it to Suggs. Lynchburg has faced the press not only today, but a couple of times throughout the season. They've done a good job breaking. Another 3-point attempt. Lockamy just short. Lockamy now 1 for 6 from downtown. In front of Coach Thompson. Dixon gets it out to McDowell, defended by Savage. Khalid Hines, back to Dixon. Lockamy lays out on the hardwood. It's gathered by Suggs. Hines comes in from the backside, gets his hands on the basketball. They're going to rule jump ball. Alternating possession will give it to the battling Bishops. Good hustle from both sides, and Lockamy a little shaken up. Trying to tend towards that right shoulder. Always scary when you see players hit the hardwood. Running the possibility of jamming or even spraining that elbow, shoulder. Good to see Lockamy's okay. He's going to stay in the game. Trying to beat the shot clock. A ferocious runner. Won't fall. Offensive rebound, though, does go down for NC Wesleyan. Suggs open for the free throw line. Mid-range jumper, touch too strong. We're starting to see his own defense implemented there on that last possession for NC Wesleyan, coming up further on the court, making Lynchburg come into their half court and make those passes further up the hardwood and closer to midcourt overall. Hines to McDowell for 3. Off the mark. Rebound for Thacker. Suggs in transition. Savage pulls up for mid-range and leaves it short. Shooting today just hasn't been there so far for Savage. McDowell just outside the restricted circle, sinks it. Timeout called by Coach Hillary Scott. 14:48 left to be played. And it becomes a media timeout, so we will step aside. 41-26, your score at Wayne Prophet Court. Lynchburg out in front of NC Wesleyan.
The biggest thing that I've taken from Westover is probably my interactions with faculty. I started working with Dr. Fryer. He's always available for help, and he makes sure that I get to do the experiments and not just be there while he does them. I didn't want to limit myself when I came here to just taking the prereqs for med school. I wanted to get a full, well-rounded education, and I definitely found that in the Westover program. It's given me the opportunity to keep playing soccer at a competitive level, but also it's given me the ability to be a student and to pursue other activities such as EMS. I 100% do Westover because it's not something they're going to regret, and it's going to be a lot of work, but so is everything else. It's just going to help build their education that they've already had and make them a better person for it.
41-26, Lynchburg out in front of North Carolina Wesleyan. Just under 15 minutes left until the end of regulation. Lynchburg looking to make it back-to-back wins after they topped CNU last Saturday and are in the driver's seat. Able to accomplish that feat today. Meanwhile, for NC Wesleyan, looking for win number 3 in a row after topping Aloysius and then Mid-Atlantic Christian the last 2 games. Jordan Parham open, trifecta, knocks down. 3rd three-point shot to go for Parham today. And he's been a great addition off the bench for the Hornets offense. They'll say last touch by Carrington Young. It stays with the battling Bishops. Parham now 2nd in scoring for the Hornets, just behind Izzy Lockby, the only player for Lynchburg in double figures with 11. Game high is Damon McDowell with 16. Screen away, or excuse me, foul away from the ball, and it's on the screen set by Kyron Kelly. 11th turnover to go against the battling Bishops. And in front of the full court pressure, you see Izzy Lockamy as the inbounder. It just gives another guard in the backcourt there for Lynchburg. Really like that play setup by Coach Hillary Scott and the Hornets. Knowing they're going to feel pressure, put another ball handler back there. "12 seconds to the shot clock. Savage defended by Dixon. Off the screen from Young. Navigates to the basket. Spin move from Young. Tough look. Just in front of the free throw line. No good. Thacker gets his hands on the basketball. Out to Lockamy, and Lynchburg will reset. And that has got to be a demoralizing possession for the Battling Bishops. You play 30 seconds of good basketball and don't get the rebound, so you got to try to do it all over again. Lockamy to the cup. Sinks it. Lockamy, despite 1 of 6 shooting from beyond the arc, team best 13 points. And he's really been creative, trying to be able to get to the basket. We've seen backdoor cuts on a few occasions there on the receiving end, uses his quickness to beat a couple of defenders, and then right-handed hook layup attempt. That close to the basket. It'll fall through every time for Lockamy. Full timeout called as Lynchburg stretches their lead up to 20. 13-22, excuse me. Left to be played. Let's talk about the upcoming schedule for both these teams. On the horizon for NC Wesleyan, they'll be back at home against St. Andrews Friday, December 3rd. Tip-off set for 8 o'clock the next day. They then host Virginia University of Lynchburg, 3 p.m. tip for next Saturday. For Lynchburg, they're at Washington and Lee on Wednesday, December 1st. Tip-off set for 7 o'clock. Then next Saturday, they're at Salisbury, followed up by a contest at CNU on December 12th. Looking forward to seeing Lynchburg and CNU duke it out for the 2nd time this year. That will actually be a radio broadcast that will be implemented. Be the first LHSN radio call of the year. Yours truly making the trip. Definitely be on the lookout for more information and the link to be able to listen to that broadcast at CNU on December 12th. Little tease for LHSN Radio Network. But out of the timeout, back here, Wayne Profit Court. Devon James checks back in for Lynchburg after the break. And it's going to be North Carolina Wesleyan basketball. NC Wesleyan a little over 13 minutes away from potentially falling to 0-3 on the road. So all 3 losses away from their home confines. It's an interesting thing to try to catch on to at the beginning of the year. What are those early trends, and what do they signal for what's on the horizon for every team? Some of the trends I'm seeing early on between the game at CNU and then so far today, this Lynchburg defense could be legit. On the offensive side, they're shooting just 34% from the field, but it's been enough to stretch their lead up to now 20 as Parham, his first non-3-point field goal attempt, falls through, or first made field goal from non-3-point land. And Parham just such a sharpshooter. He knocks it down, plus the foul on top of it. So He's knocked down 3 3-point shots, an opportunity to do it the old-fashioned way now. And we have a new game-high 21-point lead for Lynchburg, 49-28. And again, despite the offensive showing not necessarily all that efficient, the defense has been fantastic. McDowell really has been the only player to get anything done, especially in the second half. McDowell drives against Young. Tough look. Offensive rebound and the foul for Kyron Kelly. Old-fashioned three-point play on one end of the court, and now an opportunity for North Carolina Wesleyan to get it right back on the other end. Aaron Suggs checks in for Cam Savage, just ahead of the free throw, as Kelly, 50% free throw shooter so far this season. Those were the first 2 points for Kelly on the day. Can't convert, cap off the play, so he's got 2 points to go along with 3 rebounds. TC Thacker's 2 points away from his third double-double in the season, 8 points to go along with 11 rebounds. He had double-doubles in each of the first 2 games, and then didn't get the double-double in the win against CNU, but dropping 20 points will be A-OK, especially considering the offense was on fire. The majority of that contest for the Hornets weren't a whole lot of offensive rebounds to go around, so Thacker finishes with 20 and 6. The win over the Captains. Young has it ripped away by, well, Salbe Young. Transition offense leads to 2 more points for NC Wesleyan. The Battling Bishop's bench now up on their feet. Starting to feel some energy from that half of the court. First time we could say that all day today. Aaron Suggs brings it across. This feels like a spot where him or Thacker come through with a equilibrium type of basket. Bring this game to an even keel when it comes to momentum, and that's exactly the case. What a shot there from Suggs. He's a tough shot taker and a tough shot maker. Case in point on that possession. He's got 7 now. Excuse me, make that 9. Foul goes against James. Brings Pittman in for Carrington Young. McDowell will inbound from the near sideline. 11:20 left to be played. McDowell against James. Basket and the foul. Back-to-back possessions, resulting in the opportunity for old-fashioned three-point plays. A minute ago was a put-back layup for Kyron Kelly. He didn't convert on the free throw. Here it's McDowell getting the foul against James. He now checks out with Izzy Lockamy coming on in his place. McDowell up to 16 points on the day. This becomes his first free throw attempt, however. Overall, grad student 7 of 17 shooting from the field, 2 of 5 from beyond the arc. Those 2 made 3-point shots, the only 2 all day for NC Wesleyan. And that's the stats now pouring. It's actually 19 points for McDowell. He had 18 after knocking down the layup. Apologies on my error on my end. Block called on NC Wesleyan. Looks like Kelly came in with shuffling feet just ahead of Pittman. NC Wesleyan looking to make it interesting, trailing by 16. A chance with a few stops. NC Wesleyan very easily make this into a single-digit game and then take the momentum even further in that direction. Pittman thought about the step-back 3. Stead sets the screen. Suggs. Shot is strong. O-board for Lockamy. Lays it off for Pittman. Tough look just in front of the rim. In out of the hands of Thacker. Poked away, last touched by an NC Wesleyan defender. The rebound for Thacker. He's now got 12. Shot clock at 6. Pittman to Lockamy. Shot fake. Parham open for 3. Off the side of the iron. Rebound for Kyron Kelly. Things continue to get interesting here at Wayne Prophet Court. Nice find from Hines. Young can't finish, but takes it away from Suggs. Bounce pass is broken up. Foul on the play regardless. Goes against TC Thacker. 5th foul to go against Lynchburg here in the second half. There's 6 against NC Wesleyan, so Lynchburg foul away from getting the line for the 1-1. NC Wesleyan 2 away from doing the same. Inbound goes to McDowell. Over Lockamy. Shot is short. But Lockamy called for the foul. Whistle, in my opinion, on the later side, but now McDowell headed back to the free throw line for attempts 2 and 3 on his day. McDowell's already surpassed his 18.8 points per game average entering the contest, and he becomes the first player today to reach the 20-point mark. McDowell up to 21. Brings it down to a 14-point ball game. Again, you just feel the energy more now than ever throughout this entire contest. Nearly had Thacker on the receiving end of the oop. Kyron Kelly swats it away. They're going to call it goaltending. Close play. Was nearly a block that adds on to the energy on the other end of the court. Building for NC Wesleyan instead. Gives Lynchburg 2 more points. The lead up to 16. McDowell cuts. Can't finish with the right hand. Last touch by Kelly. Out of play it goes. Possession to Lynchburg. Lockamy leads the Lynchburg Hornets in scoring with 13, despite 1 of 6 shooting from beyond the arc. Both Suggs and Thacker knocking on the door to double figures. Parham for 3, indeed. Make it a 19-point Lynchburg lead. And after receiving the inbound, Hines must have stepped on the sideline, and that is just a costly turnover as it gets. Late in the contest, you're running out of empty possessions that you can afford, and that's as unforced an error as it gets. Hines just unaware of where he was, stepped on the sideline. Now Suggs to inbound for the Hornets. Thacker drops it off for Pittman. Salbe Young gets a hand on it. Now with Lockamy. Traverses all the way from one end of the court to the other. Shot clock at 8. Parham from the near side wing. Leaves a shot short. Young over to SQ. Down low, it's Kelly. From the free throw line. Shot is strong. Off the mark from Salbe Young, and the rebound picked up by Thacker, who then absorbs the contact. 7th foul to go against NC Wesleyan, so trip to the free throw line for Thacker. If he goes 2 for 2 here, he has got his 3rd double-double on this season. Already 13 rebounds. He's got 8 points to go with it. Carrington Young's going to check at the next head ball, presumably for TC Thacker. Looked like Coach Hillary Scott signaled that Young's going in for the shooter. Thacker's only missed 2 free throws all season long. 91.7% shooter at the charity stripe, and sinks the first one with ease. The lead back to 20. Now it's at 21, tying Largest lead of the day for the Hornets. Thacker will check out after picking up his third double-double officially on the season. 10 points, 13 rebounds. Carrington Young comes on for Thacker. Khalid Hines is going to check out, and Braden Dixon subs in for him. Kicked away by the Hornets. Inbound from underneath the basket for NC Wesleyan. Down by 21, 8:21 left to be played. And if you're going to make your way back into this one, Ed, pretty much has to start just about now, especially with how good Lynchburg's defense has been. McDowell, seemingly the only player who can find some success against the Hornets. He's now got a game-high 23. The next highest score for NC Wesleyan, 6 points from Salve Young. Cross-court swing. Parham on the receiving end. Long two. Nothing but nylon. Jordan Parham, have yourself a day. He's got a team best 17. Sophomore from Richmond, Virginia is feeling it to say the least. Kelly's called for the travel. 13th turnover for NC Wesleyan, and just like we said a moment ago, as Khalid Hines stepped on the sideline after the possession had just begun for NC Wesleyan. These costly unforced turnovers are going to make a huge difference, especially as you try to cut into a 21-point deficit. In transition, three-point attempt, SQ, no good. Salve Young comes flying in. I think he wanted the foul. He's still down in pain. Other end of the court. Behind the back pass from Lockamy. Parham gives way to Pittman. Looked like Parham was about to climb the ladder. Instead, gives way with the unselfish play. He gets an easy two for Trey Pittman. 7:13 left in regulation. Noah Bullock's going to check back in. It's now a 62-39 ball game. Looked like we might have been going to a timeout, but it is not the case. Instead, RJ Bailey checks in. First time we've seen him on the court today. TC Thacker just checked in as well. We might get one more sub for the Hornets, and we will indeed. Miles Taylor comes on for Theron Suggs. Lynchburg's going to return the favor, and Bullock's going to pick up Dixon full length of the court. Bailey trying to find Kelly. Jarred all the way towards the Lynchburg bench, and Parham just barely able to keep it in. I'm surprised they didn't call that a self-pass, as he was the one who tried to tip it ahead to Taylor and then ultimately crowd controlled and then kicked it back out for Lynchburg to set up the half-court offense. Thacker against Kelly, swings it over. Far side corner three. Taylor banks it in off the glass, I'm sure just as planned. Just the 7th three-point shot to go for Lynchburg today. Dixon drives in, gets the basket, and the whistle to go with it. And that's going to send us to our under 7-minute media timeout. We'll step aside and come back with Braden Dixon at the free throw line looking to cap off the three-point play. It's 65-41 Lynchburg out in front of North Carolina Wesleyan.
Today's a rough day. Jess and I are officially on a break. The couple canoe has broken up.
It's not.
How you feeling?
Living the dream.
Just canoeing. That's the Mexican side behind me. The U.S. is that way.
So far, we're all still alive.
I really want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Woo! We did it! Kind
.6:18 left in regulation. Hornets out in front by 24 over the battling Bishops. We bring you back after the timeout. It's Braden Dixon looking to cap off the three-point play. 0 of 1 from the free throw line so far today with 4 points. It's third most for the battling Bishops. Did a good job working his way to the cup. Finished through the contact and converts on the free throw. He's now got 5. Bullock off the screen from Young. Gives back to the grad transfer from Ferrum. Young trying to get it to Thacker. Foul on the play. Looks like it's going to go against Isaiah Lewis, as he was the defender trying to hold his own against Thacker. So TC Thacker back to the free throw line. 2 of 2 from the stripe today. We'll get at least free throw attempt number 3 here. Lynchburg came into the day 10th in the ODAC in free throw attempts, which felt a little low compared to how this team has played, especially against CNU. More than 20 free throw attempts in that contest. Thacker knocks down the first, but positive sign is when the team does get to the line, first in the conference, 77.2% free throw shooting, and that is a beyond healthy clip, something that Coach Hillary Scott would love to see continue throughout the rest of the season. Leads at 25. Kelly goes up through the contact from Thacker. Grad student called for the foul. Both teams have 8 fouls, so we're in the bonus for both teams and a couple fouls away from reaching the double bonus. Kyron Kelly at the line. 0 of 1 from the stripe so far. That was on the attempt to convert and cap off the old-fashioned three-point play. Carrington Young checks out. Jalen Hargrove checks in. Kelly goes over 2. It serves as a turnover of sorts for NC Wesleyan. With just under 6 minutes to go, there's not much time for empty possessions. If you want to make this one into a ball game, they feed Hargrove fresh after checking in. He draws the foul against the battling Bishops. Goes against Kyron Kelly. So Hargrove steps to the free throw line, junior from Chesterfield, Virginia. Missed last season due to injury, played in 11 games in 2019-2020. So far this season, averaging 2 points per contest, and that becomes the first free throw attempt on the season officially. And Hargrove rattles it through. #15th rebound of the day for TC Thacker. Thacker to end of the contest. Second in the ODAC in rebounds per game. First in offensive rebounds per game. 4.33 a contest. Astronomical mark. Mid-range jumper sinks through for Thacker. And he's having everything he wants and then some in the second half. He's got 12. 4 of 6 shooting from the field. 4 for 4 from the free throw line. Dow Dutton's going to check in for Thacker. 5:09 left in regulation. Comes with Damon McDowell at the free throw line. 3 for 3 from the stripe so far. Game high, 23 points. And McDowell misses on the front end of a 1-and-1. Both teams with 9 fouls. The next foul on either team will send the opposing side of the line for a guaranteed 2. Just to keep you up to date on where the bonus is at. Sutton hands off to Taylor. Gets some space against McDowell. Step back, mid-range jumper. Touch too strong. Taylor nearly had the highlight-worthy play. McDowell the other way. Three-point shot in Taylor's grill. Third three-point shot to go for McDowell. Lynchburg breaks the press. Hargrove off the feed from Sutton, an easy two for the junior. McDowell drives in, working against the trees. Shortest man on the court, Landon Sutton, comes away with the rebound. Out in front, nearly had Noah Bullock, who was trying to catch the pass, stay in, and then also set up for a potential corner three-point shot. Maybe one thing too much to do all at the same time, and falls out of the hands of Bullock, and it serves as a turnover. 8 to go against Lynchburg. Should also note, NC Wesleyan 2 of 7 from beyond the arc. They only took 4 three-point attempts in the season opener, but every game after that took at least 15 threes. So talking about how good Lynchburg's defense has been, it's not only that they've held NC Wesleyan to low shooting percentages, 32% from the field, 28.6% from beyond the arc, but they haven't let the Bishops get comfortable catching and receiving passes from beyond the arc, at least not enough to put up three-point shots, which just speaks to how good the defense has been all day for Lynchburg, just not giving up any breathing room against NC Wesleyan. Free throw attempts off the mark from R.J. Bailey, 50% free throw shooter entering today's game. Second also off the mark. Rebound for Elijah Davis, son of Hubert Davis. Of course, if you're a basketball fan, you're familiar with that name. Elijah Davis got his first 2 collegiate points very end of the game against CNU. Checks in a little earlier today. Sutton drives in, lays off for Dutton, misses the right-handed layup, gets his own offensive rebound. Hargrove goes back up with it. No second chance points to show for a few different extra chances for Lynchburg. Braden Dixon steps back in front of Bullock, swings it over. Shot from Patrick G, no good. Long pass ahead for Dutton. Now a long 2 from Sutton. Another empty possession for the Hornets. Dixon right down Broadway, pulls up at the free throw line and knocks it down. Natalie Bishop still showing pressure. The diagonal passing there for Lynchburg to break the press. Elijah Davis receives the pass, gets it to Dutton. Swings it over to Bullock. Near side wing 3. Count it. Hornets up by 28 now as subs will check in. Tim Pettiford subs out. And Tyler Spence checks in for the first time today. Foul called on Noah Bullock. Dixon's going to head to the line for a guaranteed 2. 2:23 left to go. So assuming the score will hold, Lynchburg will now hold the advantage, the all-time series history between these two sides, and will become 2-1 against NC Wesleyan, taking the last 2. And dropping just the first meeting. That was all the way back in 2004. Then they met again in November of 2019. 20-point win for Lynchburg, and the Hornets ahead by 28. Dixon goes 1 for 2. He's now got 8 points, second most for any NC Wesleyan player, trailing just the 26 from Damon McDowell. Hornets likely not in a rush on the offensive side over the last couple of possessions they'll get in this game. Sutton gets a step on Dixon, swings it over to Bullock, pulls up for mid-range. Shot won't fall through. Less than 2 to go now. Nice feed from Bailey. Finds G. Looks like Hargrove might have got a hand on it and tipped it. Elijah Davis for 3. Rattles out. Hargrove almost had the offensive rebound. I'm actually going to say it's going to stay with the Hornets, so I presume I might have seen that play wrong, and Hargrove didn't get his hands on the basketball instead. Maybe it was a battling Bishop who did so. Long 3 for Fitch. Touches the iron twice. Sutton's going to be called for the foul against Austin Manley. So to the other end of the court we go for 2 free throws. The sophomore from North Carolina. Manley came in today shooting 11 of 15 from beyond the arc, but today did not take a 3-point shot. That feels like something that NC Wesleyan might look back at and try to correct in future contests. Make sure they get at least a couple of attempts from Manley. He's a prolific 3-point shooter. You want to at least get him a couple looks. But again, I think it speaks to how uncomfortable Lynchburg has made teams feel on the defensive side. First time calling the name of Mason McCovic. He checks in after the first free throw is no good. Comes on for Dow Dutton. Second free throw is true for Manley. Combination of Sutton and Davis get it across half court. McCovic at the free throw line. Has his pass taken away by Bailey. Threads the needle perfectly. Nice dime ahead to Braden Dixon. NC Wesleyan now has a second player into double figures. Dixon with 10. Might have been a self pass there from Sutton, not called. McCovic, just beyond the free throw line, has his first 2 collegiate basketball points. Congratulations to Mason McCovic, freshman from Virginia Beach. Makes it a 77-51 basketball game. Little break in the action. Referees exchange a few words with Patrick G underneath the basket, unsure of what exactly provoked that conversation. Long 3, Dixon. Shot no good. Last touch by Jalen Hargrove. It's going to stay with NC Wesleyan. Again, if you missed me talk about it earlier, the upcoming schedule sees battling Bishops back at home on Friday, December 3rd against St. Andrews, and the next day playing host to Virginia University of Lynchburg. 3 p.m. tip for that Saturday contest. Out in front, Sutton lays it in easily, put the lead at 28. And for Lynchburg, be back in action midweek at Washington and Lee this upcoming Wednesday. And then we'll hit the road, take on Salisbury and CNU on December 11th and 12th. Dixon can't finish. McCovic with the rebound. Gets it ahead to Davis, who will hold on to the basketball and dribble out the remaining clock. Lynchburg improves to 3-1 on the season. 2-0 on Wayne Profit Court. North Carolina Wesleyan falls to 4-3 on the season, now 0-3 on the road. Something to keep your eyes on if you're a battling Bishop fan throughout the rest of the season. Really fun game to watch. Hopefully you all enjoyed at home. Appreciate you all tuning in here Saturday afternoon. Our LHSN player of the match has got to be Jordan Parr, leading scorer for the Hornets with 17 points. Coming off the bench, 4 of 7 shooting from downtown was some additional offense that Lynchburg used to pull away, especially in the second half. Jordan Parham, your LHSN player of the game. What the game means for both sides, NC Wesleyan had won their last 2 games, dropped this one, opportunity to get back at home for a couple of contests to get back to their winning ways. They are the preseason pick to win the USA South, so a team that certainly has their eyes set on making the NCAA tournament. And they gave themselves a tough non-conference date here with Lynchburg today, and it's certainly be hard to play on the road, and certainly had some things exposed, and that's what you play early non-conference games for, right? You're trying to find where your potential weaknesses are once you get into conference play. Meanwhile, Lynchburg back-to-back wins after knocking off CNU last weekend. They come away as a winner today against NC Wesleyan, taking down 2 separate teams picked to win their conference. That certainly pats the resume for the Hornets. But that's going to do it for us at Wayne Profit Court. Once again, final score 79-51. Lynchburg comes out on top over NC Wesleyan. For my director, Sam Rice, and the rest of our fantastic LHSN broadcast crew, my name's TJ Wingert. And until next time, we are signing off.